Yo, so a nice lady, right? That's what we are looking at today. This is the new film from Jessie Weber Kass, right? Jessica also writes, you know what I mean? She writes the film. It is produced by Jessica Weber Kass as well, along with Noah Kass, Julie Defette, and Rachel Barkley. It is associate produced by Karen Wang and Pamela Moriarty. Valentina Caniglia took care of cinematography. Daniela Schreier Kafshi and Eugenio Villamar edit the piece. Right, casting was Sig de Miguel and Stephen Vincent. We've got Palak Ketapatul on art direction. Hair and makeup, we have Theo Contonis and Paula Salas Lablois. Okie dokie. Right, so then we have got Jamie Monaghan as the intimacy coordinator. And our cast, right, we have got Gwen Harbinger, played by Molly Bernard, right? Hilary Finch is played by Pearl Amanda Dickson. Her boyfriend Zephyr Shepherd is played by Luke Nieves. We have got Don McAllister, played by Aaron Costa-Ganis. Hilary's friend is played by Naa-yu Amani. A younger version of Gwen is played by Ava Cass. Right? Then we have got some of the shoppers and art students are played by Chad Van Der Veen, Dana Tyler, Eben Moore, Gillian Weber Mullard, Steve Mara, Hannah LaSure, Hannah Kaplan, Lou Bishop, Rachel Barkley. And the gist of the film, right? What is this all about? Well, Gwen Harbinger, a solitary artist in her 30s, runs through Central Park each day to escape a past she hasn't fully faced. She meets Hilary, a scrappy young woman who mirrors her younger self, and Zephyr, a soulful but lost musician. In a moment of longing, Gwen invites them to stay in her luxury apartment as they help her finally turn a profit on her artwork. Gwen is thrust into unfamiliar territory, visibility, intimacy, and potential success, but as her fears resurface, Gwen begins to lose her grip on the delicate balance she's built. So yeah, that's the film, people. Now we do have a director's statement, right? So it reads: living on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, I became a regular Central Park runner, one in a throng of many. Like cars on a highway, after each run, I would stretch near Strawberry Fields and began to notice the regulars around the imagined circle. Young guitarists, bead sellers, and street artists. This set my imagination wild, and a nice lady was born. As a filmmaker, I'm drawn to the emotional residue we carry, and how identity is shaped by small, charged encounters. This film asks, what does it mean to be a nice lady. In a world that often asks women to suppress their rage, trauma, and complexity. The film follows Gwen, a woman navigating the liminal space between memory and survival. Her daily runs through Central Park are rituals of escape and return. When she meets Hilary, a magnetic, childlike hustler, and Zephyr, a soulful yet lost young man, Gwen is pulled into a strange and intimate reckoning with her past and present. So yeah, that's the film, man. And yo, this is really, it's an interesting piece, right? Because I think on the surface, you can just look at it as a woman running and, you know, meeting some people that she's, you know, vibing with. But we kind of see, right, in the runs, and I don't know, like, I mean, people have, there's so many different reasons you run, right? There's exercise, and it's funny because, like, some people will run with music, some people do not want music, they just want to process thoughts, right? Some people don't think about anything, you know? But there's all of these different reasons, like, that we do these things, and I think you see this level of kind of concentration on her as she's running, right? And she's in her own world. So then when she stumbles upon Hilary, right, it is that kind of, right? Because there's something about Hilary that reminds her of, I think, maybe her younger self, or just the energy that she once had, right? And sometimes it's not like you see yourself in someone, but you can see what you know, the desire you once had, right? Maybe the like similar thoughts, and you know what I mean, different things like that, right? So I think we see that. And then it becomes this other thing, right? But I think with both of them, there is that kind of weird connection, because when they meet again and Gwen's like, oh, you're from Florida, right? You can see Hilary's surprised, but she's just like, oh, you listened, right? Because I think she just assumes she's talking, right? It's just filling up space. You know what I mean? Hoping someone might pay attention or, you know, do something for you. But you don't think they actually care, right? They're absorbing anything. So I think we see there's that. But then, you know, we get these flashbacks, right? That Gwen is having of her past, which is very interesting, right? Because we have the visual flashback, and then the you know, audio flash, right? So all of these different things, and you kind of feel like these things are tied into her thoughts around art, right? Because, you know, she's not doing anything until these encounters. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like this unearths, right, this past that she was trying to kind of separate herself from, you know? And it's piecing those things like back together. It is like archaeology in a way, right? Where you know, you have to be so delicate with it, right? You have to kind of brush. You see people with the brush and they're brushing away, right? Because you can't just, you know, because you might break what is there. And then it's like, you know, can we bring it up? Do we have to, protect it from the environment, right? Will it introducing it to oxygen, to air, to sunlight, destroy it? So you have to be very delicate. And I think that is the thing with Gwen and this fault, this memory, right? This past that she gets caught up in everything. And so there isn't initially the thought of preservation. No, that's not the word. Preservation, right? There's not that thought. So when she gets to a point, right, and it's like, what? This is overwhelmed. Out. Everyone out. Go, 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 go. Because it's like, yo, this is way too much, right? And the memory, as I say, the memories of art and work and expression are caught up in this past. And because that hasn't really been dealt with, so now it's kind of like, oh no. You know what I mean? It's oh no. Like, she's got the bends, essentially, right? Like, when people dive, you go to a certain depth and you have to then start to, when you come back up, you have to come slowly. Because if you come too fast, right, you got too much, the oxygen forms bubbles in your lungs. I think that's it. I forget the initial situation, but yeah, you know what I mean? And you get what they call the bends. And it's kind of, she's got the emotional bends here, right? So it's coming to terms with all of that. Now, we also see this thing in these other characters as well, right? Zephyr and Hilary. You can see, like, in Zephyr, there's something, right? There's a different thing, Like Hilary. I mean, what we learn about Hilary, there's these interesting things here, It's, again, like, and it's always the interesting thing of a short, right? It's a little snapshot into something, like you're peering through a window. You're looking for a crack in the wall at this moment, and then you have to duck away before they see you, So we're seeing this thing, and, it's interesting because when Gwen first meets Hilary and Zephyr together, right? But she's just met Zephyr, and then Hilary turns up. There is that look of, right? And in the flashback, we can definitely see a similar thing, right? Because it's forming a connection or having a thought about something and then thinking it's being superimposed by someone else, right? So this other thing is coming into what you thought you had, And I think you see is it happening again? Like, what is this, right? We see that. We see the kind of longing, the missing, like, the fact that it's absent, right? When she sees the intimacy between Zeph and Hilary. Right? All of these things are there, which is really, I mean, the performances are great because they do show us all of these emotions, right? They do, without having to have the words there, right? Because just writing, someone is jealous, it's not as clear cut as that, right? But the emotion gives us so much more, right? And that's just that expression, the body language, the way someone's standing, just all of those things tell us all of this. So it's a really fascinating peace, you know, and a nice lady. Because that is a thing, right? You can say someone is nice, but are they always nice, right? Or what is the caveat on that, right? And why do you perceive them to be nice? You know what I mean? Like, with someone trying to look after themselves, does that necessarily make them bad? You know what I mean? Like, these things are there because, you know, Gwen has helped these young people. Now, she helped them when there was an understanding of what this was. But then, you know, other things come to light. So it's kind of like, if you don't know the full truth on something, are you then a bad person when you go, I don't know about that, right? I didn't sign up for that. You know what I'm saying? It's, I think this little film, it looks at these different components of life, right? These different, you know, things that make up circumstances that we can find ourselves in. And it explores them in a way where it's not, you know, really overt and like, this is what it is, right? It's very subtle, right? It's a delicate approach, but it is an approach that is handled very well and interestingly, you know, like, yeah, it's fascinating, right? Because at the end, we don't necessarily get this clear-cut conclusion, but we do get an understanding that maybe Glenn is coming into the fault of, let me go with this. You know what I mean? Let me actually embrace what this possibility could be, which is interesting, you know? Because she's, you know, early 30s. So when you think about it, the age gaps and all of that, it's not crazy, you know? So, yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting. People, I recommend you check this one out, right? So, I think it's just starting its festival run. So, yeah, keep an eye on Jessica and, you know, the rest of the crew's socials, right? As you'll be able to find out if it's showing anywhere near you. I will put on, obviously, if I get, you know, other dates, I will put them on the website. But yeah, keep an eye out for A Nice Lady. I think it's very thought-provoking, very well done, you know, when you consider the you know, the camera work, the performances, the dialogue, all of these things. A Nice Lady is very, very intriguing. So check it out.